Throughout halls of 4 seasons lost. In Austin, I saw and paused. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice. Then it's his to this head and slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Roll dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. Often mirrors appear, click, ready from ear to ear. Craving radiating rain, rekindle the flame. Close as she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know I've heard this. In paradise, in paradise. We know that I've heard this. In paradise, in paradise. We manifest dreams. In paradise, in paradise. Truth is what you conceive.
The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Today, we are coming to you from the Santa Fe Family Life Center is where we're coming to you today from. And it's located 6300 North Santa Fe. You can contact us at 405-840-1817. Memberships are starting at $34.99. And you contact us or at SFFLC, which stands for Santa Fe Family Life Center.com. You can look it up. And then tomorrow night is the big event that I have been talking about for a while, which is the JFK Awards. And if you like doing things like this is a great event and something that you should be a part of and should go. I really like hanging out there. It's going to be at the Omni tomorrow night. I don't know if you can still buy tickets. I'm assuming you can. I don't know any events that don't allow you to walk up there and hand them $350 and say, hey, do I have a seat? I'm sure they can find you one. But, of course, it's tomorrow night at the Omni Theater, 7 p.m., September 20th. It's the John F. Kennedy Community Service Awards. You can see in the right-hand part of the screen the 3 recipients for this year's awards. And we'd like to thank all of them for giving us the opportunity and all the things that they do event-wise and community service-wise in Oklahoma City. And we want to give our shout-out to all 3 of them and thank them for their service to the community. So that being said, you know, it was a full weekend of football. There was some baseball and stuff, but, you know, baseball is not something I really care that much about. But there was a lot of baseball. And, of course, the Aces won the WNBA championship. Shout out to them for them winning. And enjoyed watching a little bit of their game yesterday. Didn't get to see a whole lot of games on Saturday. I wasn't feeling well, apparently. I just wasn't feeling well. Let's just say that about Saturday. But I did watch as much football as I could. Was dozing in and out. Had to get 3 bags of IV on Friday or whatever. So anyway, things are good. Feeling a little bit better today. Ready for the show. Ready to get things going. And let's start out, of course, with a little NFL news. The Buccaneers wide receiver Mike Evans will be suspended for 1 game after his altercation with Sean Lattimore. Those two do not like each other. This has been going back for a while, and Mike Evans doesn't like the fact that Sean Lattimore he can't catch the ball on him. He shuts him down. And I'm sure there's a lot of trash talking, a lot of things going on, but hey, you know, he couldn't do anything with him. And remember, Lattimore was the number 11th pick, and when you hear Sean Payton talking about that draft with Patrick Mahomes and Lattimore, that they were discussing on who to take, and Patrick Mahomes was going to be their next quarterback. But the Chiefs and Brett Veach moved up and snatched Patrick Mahomes from the grasp of the Saints. And I think that he would be just as great with the Saints had he been there under Sean Payton, because I think if Patrick Mahomes was his quarterback, I do not think that Sean Payton would have left and would have stopped coaching. I think he would have kept coaching. At least I know I would. I'm not going to let somebody like Patrick Mahomes get a chance to coach him. That I wouldn't. And of course, Sean said that Patrick Mahomes was the best quarterback that he's ever evaluated out of college, which was quite a compliment because he's evaluated tons of quarterbacks, and he said there was Patrick Mahomes and then a gap between everybody else as far as quarterbacks are concerned. So I thought that was a pretty good deal about that. But that being said, the Saints and the Bucks both have great defenses. They both knock the crap out of each other. And one thing has not changed up quite a bit is my power rankings this week. And I had to do some changes because of the simple fact it was week 2. I've got a chance to see a lot of the teams play. So my deal is still the Chiefs, still the Bills, still the Chargers. I'm a little concerned because Justin Herbert did fracture the cartilage, which if you've hurt yourself, the cartilage is even worse than broken ribs. I mean, you can't laugh. It hurts to breathe. It hurts to move. So that being said, but the Chargers defense I still think is one of the best. So I have to have them up there. Then, of course, the Vikings after that. Vikings, I like what the Vikings are doing. I like their defense. It's still Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. But that being said, I still think the Vikings, with the weapons that he has around him, that they'll be well. Plus, they've got a new coach, and there's always nice when there's fresh talk in the locker room. And then the Buccaneers, after their win over the Saints, I can just see what they do as far as defensive-wise. I just can't. Jameis Winston, I just don't get him. That being said, back to the Rams being number 6. I think the Eagles have moved up. That's going to be great watching them play tonight, seeing what they do with the Vikings. I think that's going to be a great game. Then the Niners, of course, you've got the Niners. The Dolphins, I had to move the Dolphins up because they came back and they beat the Ravens. And y'all know what I say. Till you beat somebody, hey, it is what it is. And so I put the Dolphins ahead of the Ravens, and I stuck them in simply because the AFC doesn't really know how to defend Tyreek Hill at this particular moment. The teams that are playing, that he will play against, wasn't like the Chiefs. They don't have the respect for Tua that they had for Patrick Mahomes, so they're not going to tend to play them the same way in the AFC. So there's no way that Tyreek Hill can get that wide open on 2 possessions the way that they did. I mean, he is ridiculously fast, but for them to do that, I just don't understand how in the world that could have happened. But, hey, congratulations to the Dolphins. They do move into my top 10. The Ravens are number 10. And to me, when you have a 21-point lead and you give that up, and then you have him wanting to get paid. Well, my deal is this. Okay, you want me to pay you how much money? You have a 21-point lead and you blow it. And you want $230 guaranteed $1 million. You want $200 million. You've got a lead and then you can't hold it. Why in the world would I do that? Now, a lot of it is, hey, he's been great throwing the ball and all of that, but that's fine. But the bottom line is, when you need to get it done, you didn't get it done. You had a lead, you gave it up. That's the bottom line. That's what happened here. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not change it up. Lamar, you want all this money. Well, you had a 21-point lead, you blew it. So let's talk about that. Now, Patrick Mahomes did blow a 21-3 lead to the Bengals in the championship game, throwing an interception, and the Chiefs fumbled their way, but it is what it is. So, but to give up 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, that's something completely different. You mean to tell me you couldn't sustain a drive, and what you did is until the end when you drove down the field, and of course the best kicker in the history of the game, Justin Tucker, which something like 52 straight field goals in the fourth quarter, something insane that he's made consecutively. He's insane what Justin Tucker does. I mean, what an amazing kicker that he is. So, that being said, what a great game that it was, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about the games this weekend. In fact, I think what we'll do, yeah, we got plenty of time. We can talk about that. Then we'll come back after that. Uh, but the games tonight, of course, the Titans versus the Bills, -10. Okay, the Bills are -10. So I think the Titans are going to get smashed. I think the Bills saw what the Chiefs did. They're trying, I think, Josh Allen is trying to top Mahomes. It's kind of like, Mahomes. I mean, the Bills played last Thursday. Josh had this great game. Mahomes has to come back, outdo him, which he did against the Cardinals. Then Mahomes comes back and has a pedestrian, was it 24 for 31, whatever it was, for 235 and 2 TDs. So I think that Josh is going to come back and try to outdo what Patrick did at home last Thursday against the Chargers. Now, the Titans' defense is not as good as the Chargers' defense at all. So we'll see what happens with that. And then, of course, the Vikings and the Eagles, -2.5. Like I said, you got the Vikings up in my top 10 along with the Eagles as well. So we'll see how that works out, the Vikings versus the Eagles. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with that with the Eagles with a -2.5 at home. So we'll see whether the Eagles can be able to run the football like they have against the Vikings. So we should see, which, I think that they will be, but we'll see what happens with that. Then of course, here was the NFL games yesterday, just in case you didn't get a chance to see the games yesterday. Here's a breakdown. The games I was talking about earlier, the Dolphins and the Ravens, talking about Lamar on the contract, and if you can't hold on to a lead, you got to be able to do that. But he is showing that he can throw from the pocket, even though he did have a 79-yard run or something like that yesterday. Then of course the Jets and the Browns. What a game that was, dude! Get down, Chubb. What you doing? I mean, because it was last year, the year before, he was running for a touchdown, ran out of bounds, and ran the clock out. Won the game. This year, he came down. He could have easily squatted. They had no timeouts. The game would have been over, but no. He decided to go ahead and score the kicker. Now, he didn't know that the kicker was going to mix the extra point. He did not know that. But to go up 14 with, a minute 50, whatever, you would think that the game would be over. But let's go ahead, just get down anyway, seal the game. You don't have to put it in anybody's hands. But it did make him look good because it gave him extra yards. And what did it do more than that? He's probably getting paid by how many touchdowns he gets as far as his incentives are concerned. So that would have been something I went back as my agent and said, hey, I could have scored right there, but I gave us the win. I wanted to make sure we won the game. I should get credit for that anyway. So that might be something he might need to talk to his agent about in the future. So the Jets come back, of course. They scored touchdown in, 15 seconds. Flacco threw a bomb. Still don't know where the Browns defensive backs were, and they're jogging, not even going 100%. It was ridiculous. I don't know if they would have made any difference because he was 20 yards behind him anyway. So it was pretty much over. Then get the onside kick. Of course, guess who? Amari Cooper did not be able to slap the ball out. Didn't want no part of no contact. You got to go fight for the ball. He didn't. And they covered the ball inbounds and then, of course, scored the game-winning touchdown and then kicked the extra point. The Commanders and the Lions showed that they are for real this year. I like the Lions, and I've always liked them. I thought, I looked at top to bottom that what a good team that I thought that they were or could be. Of course, the Commanders are the Commanders. 36-27. Then the Colts are just – what did somebody say today that the Colts is where quarterbacks go to die? Andrew Luck and just went on down the line. Carson Wentz, who came before, Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett. He's at Cleveland now, and God, he threw a pick last. It was a horrible pick to get the Browns had a chance to come back to get a chance to win. So anyway, the Jaguars just annihilated them. That's a good word to use. They are now annihilated them. I just can't believe how the Colts were no-show, didn't do anything. It was just amazing. Of course, then you have the Buccaneers and the Saints once again. Jameis Winston, dude, you got to learn how to take care of the football. It was 3-3. The fight came. He tried to throw this long pass, guy wide open in the flat. Just manage the game and do what you got to do, which of course has been part of Jameis's problem. And then even one of his former teammates came out and said something to embarrass Jameis. I don't know if he really was trying to embarrass him, but he was just saying, "Hey, look, that's who he is. We know he's going to turn the ball over." And that's exactly what he did. Unlike last week, he did not turn the ball, didn't do anything to hurt his team, and they were able to win. But they could not overcome him yesterday. Then the next Panthers and the Giants. Man, I tell you what, Baker 0 for 2. I did not get a chance to see the game, so I can't really tell you a lot about it because I was kind of in and out of it. Yesterday still was not feeling that great, so I did not see the game, so I couldn't really tell you a lot. But, unfortunately, Baker lost. Giants did what they had to do. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Patriots and Steelers, I did watch that game. The Steelers with the muff punt at the end. I'm sorry. Mitch Trubisky is not the guy. I know you're trying to bring Kenny Pickett along slowly, but, you guys going to have to make a change. Mitch Trubisky is who he is. And the Steelers, you can't afford to lose a game like that to the Patriots, who have no offense. But they scored 17 points against your defense. You have got to figure that out. Got to come back and do something different. That's all I know. That's just terrible. Falcons, you look at what they did yesterday. They came back and they gave the Rams all they wanted yesterday. Rams, of course, coming back with the W, and I think the Rams just, not playing people. Sean McVay not playing people, and I think they just it takes them a few games to get rolling, and you can see if you watch the game yesterday and some of the highlights, you can see it's just going to take them a while, but they will get rolling. But their defense is giving up way too many points. They've got to figure out what they're doing defensively and working on some of their schemes. And it may be the fact that without Von Miller, it's hurt them even more, and they maybe needed to rethink that, not keeping that acquisition of Von Miller. I know the Seahawks and the Niners, unfortunately, Trey Lance went down with a broken ankle. He is out for the season. And you could just see when Jimmy Garoppolo came in, just the whole vibe of the offense completely changed watching what they were doing. It was just like night and day when you watched that game and see how the body language of the Niners completely changed offensively, having Jimmy G there in the offense. And they, of course, the number 2 ranked quarterback last week, Geno did what Geno does, unlike the first week against the Broncos. But we'll discuss the Broncos here in a minute. The Bengals and the Cowboys, what can you say about the Cowboys? That defense is just ridiculous. And Cooper Rush, I thought he played fantastic. He did everything that you really asked him to do. He is a very good backup quarterback. Is he a starting quarterback? No, he's not. But is he a very good backup? Yes, he is. He does know the Cowboys system. He knows what the offense is. And he did a good job running it, but that defense is just outstanding. And Joe Burrow, they said that, he's been sacked, but 5 of them are on Burrow because he's holding on to the ball. And a lot of it is, he wants to get the ball to Chase, because when you got a lot of guys, for guys like that, they want to run those routes, and you have to hold on to the ball just a little bit more to get those guys open. And his line is breaking down, so they're going to have to figure that out and have to change their mentality now that they are 0-2 going into week 3 next week. So we shall see what they can, because I just know they overlooked the Cowboys. There's no way they did. No Dak playing at home. They looked terrible didn't score a touchdown last week against the Buccaneers. So there's no way they respected them. They came in there thinking they were going to steamroll them, and Dallas punched them in the mouth. And remember, they scored 2 touchdowns in their first 2 drives and only scored 6 more points after that the rest of the game. So the Bengals clamped down on them, but once again, they got hit in the mouth early. And unlike the Steelers' defense, they did not allow them to get down the field. Micah Parsons, he's just Micah Parsons. He's just amazing. He is unbelievable. The Texans and the Broncos. We'll go over my question of the day here in a little bit. With that, over these next two games, I'm going to talk about the Broncos, the Cardinals, and the Raiders. But the Texans and the Broncos, Lovie Smith has got the Texans believing in themselves, believing in what they can and cannot do. So I will say that Lovie has got the Texans playing well. The Broncos and Russell Wilson, they've got to figure it out. Russell looks a little heavy, a little thick. He bought the most expensive house in Denver. Hopefully he's going to be able to sell that bad boy unless he's like Peyton, and he plans on staying there after his career is done. But he's going to have to change up. But again, is it him or is it the coach? What is it with the Broncos? They're really not running the ball like I think that they should, because Russell is a play-action type guy, a lot like Dak, but way better than Dak. But he is a lot like Dak, likes to play off the play-action. He doesn't move around like he used to and make plays with his feet. He doesn't do that as much, and maybe he needs to rethink or maybe come against that. The Cardinals and the Raiders, what can you say about the cheat code, Kyler Murray? He's a cheat code. He's like Mahomes. They're cheat codes. And he's like Lamar. They're cheat codes. That's what they are. They're cheat codes. I mean, they do stuff that you're just like, wait, what? And, I mean, he's just – him getting out of the grasp of Max with 2 X's on 4th down, that was just an unbelievable play. But once again, you go high. You remember the Texas-Alabama game. Texas called the 4th down blitz. What a play. He tries to go high on Bryce Young. Bryce Young goes under him and then runs for the 1st down. And, of course, Alabama kicks the field goal and beats Texas. Same thing here. Went high on Kyler. Kyler's stronger than what you think. Kyler shed the tackle and, of course, ended up running out. But that's when he ran for the touchdown. Actually threw the pass for the pass interference. And then, of course, they got in the end zone to beat the Raiders. What a play by Kyler on those 4th downs. Just what a pass, and then what a run for the touchdown, and then another run for the 2-point conversion, then a run for a touchdown on one play, and they come back. And then the touchdown or 2-point pass to A.J., who had dropped several passes earlier in the game. So, Bears and Seahawks. I mean, then tonight you got the Titans and the Bills and the Vikings and the Eagles. What a game. I'm looking forward to tonight because, remember, you have Peyton and Eli on one side doing the games, and then you have the ABC broadcast. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two do, and then who are their guests that they're going to have on, because I think a lot of their deal is Peyton is just hilarious. Eli is really good too. They're very personable, and this is the thing. Like I've said, the camera it does not love everybody. It just doesn't. But when it loves you, people want to watch. They want to see you. That's what the camera does. When the camera loves you, it loves you, and it does not love everybody. But clearly, the two Manning brothers, and I've still yet to see the Capital One Trivia Bowl. I still have not seen that one yet, which I do want to watch that and see how Cooper is. I've missed that on Friday night, so I need to go back and check that and watch that. So that's going to be interesting to see. So that being said, I want to take a quick break to pay some bills here. I want to thank YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. They are an equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC. And if you want to pre-qualify online for any loans, houses, cars, boats, RVs, whatever it is, those are the people that you can go to, and you can do that at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. And then we do have Collaborative Logic. If you have any IT solutions, they took care of my computer the other day. Like I told you guys, I was on, and this other stuff, I couldn't find this and that. Left my computer on. They remoted in. By the time I got home, everything was fixed. So the guys, Collaborative Logic and Russell Wilford, fantastic. If you got any needs if you're building a computer or you need to build a new business and want to add, those are the people that you need to talk to. Mark Long over at SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, those are the people that you want to holler at to get you everything taken care of. And then Jose Fierro and Oak Grove Trucking. And your Broncos, bro. Your Broncos. Man, they're struggling. But, as you say, he sent me this message about them and their old-ass quarterbacks. But the last time you got an old quarterback, what happened? You got 2 Super Bowls out of him, or Super Bowl out of him, so you can't really gripe about that. And you went to 2 Super Bowls, so you can't really gripe about having old quarterbacks because y'all do something. But that being said, Jose and his Broncos. But if you want to haul off any rocks or dirt or whatever, move some stuff, he is the guy at Oak Grove Trucking, and then Max and Greg Nafee and Nafco are the peeps for that. So. I'm terrible. I shouldn't do my boy like that, but I can't help it. It's too funny. It's just too easy. I just couldn't help it. I really couldn't. I'm sorry. Sorry. But anyway, like I said, tonight is Monday Night Football. So I'm excited to see these games. Like I said, the Titans versus the Bills. The Bills -10. Man, that's a lot of points. But the Bills, like I said, Josh Allen is in a war with Patrick Mahomes to be the best quarterback in the AFC or in the NFL. I think, like I said, the very first game, Josh played great against the Rams, put these numbers. Mahomes washed his numbers away in his victory over Phoenix, or the Arizona Cardinals, sorry. And then they turn around, and then the Chiefs, of course, beat the LA Chargers on Thursday. Now this is his chance to come back and then take the lead again, because remember, people only remember what the last game that they saw, so that's going to be interesting to see what he does against them. I'm interested to see what he's going to do, but I think the Bills are just going to run all over the Titans. I think they're on a mission, and once again, they play what do they play? 2 weeks, I think, or 3 weeks, they play the Chiefs. So that's going to be interesting to see at Kansas City what happens. But they have lost the last 3 times they have played the Chiefs, so we shall see what's going to happen with that. I think the Bills are on a mission to get that done and to beat the Chiefs, so we shall see. Well, man, I take that back. I think the Bills did beat the Chiefs last year, and then the Chiefs came back and beat them in the AFC semifinals. Vikings, Eagles. Man, I just look at this game and I'm enjoying these 2 teams. I like the Vikings a lot. You can see them. I had them up in my power rankings. Number 5, I believe, is what I had them. I think I had the Eagles at 7, something like that. So, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with this game. Eagles -2.5 point favorites. Of course they are. They're playing at home, so that should give them an advantage right there. But we're going to see how great Kirk Cousins is going to be. Of course, he's 2-9, 2-8, or something like that. 2-7, whatever, on Monday Night Football. So we'll see if the curse continues to follow Kurt, because remember last year he lost to my guy. I was just talking about the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, and we were just talking about him. My mind just went blank. Getting older, but anyway, so he lost to him last year. So Cooper Rush. Vikings versus Eagles, so we're going to see what's going to happen in that game. 7:30 tonight on ABC. The Titans and Bills, of course, are at 6:15 because, remember, some Monday nights, the NFL likes to have 2 Monday night games, one early and one late. I do like both of these games, but like I said, I think that the Titans game is going to either be tight early or Bills are going to blow them out. I think the Bills will beat them no matter what, but we'll see how. If the Titans come out slow and let the Bills jump all over them, then nobody will be watching the rest of that game, and everybody can't wait for the Vikings and the Eagles after the first half. But I like the way that the NFL does that. It gives you a chance to watch the first half of the first game, and then if it's a blowout, you can watch the whole game next, because I do believe the Vikings and Eagles will be a tight game. I don't think it'll be a blowout, and the -2.5 says that. So we'll see if Jalen Hurts can move the ball against them, which I don't know If he can, maybe he can, maybe he can't. We shall see what's going to happen. But anyway, Monday Night Football is going to be interesting tonight. Titans and Bills, 6:15 on ESPN. Of course, that'll be with Peyton and the boys, Peyton and Eli, and then I believe they'll be on ESPN too. Then you have the regular broadcast on ABC with the Vikings and Eagles. So it's going to be. I mean, it's been an interesting week. Weekend of football. It was really, really good. I liked what I saw. College, not so much. And we're getting ready to talk about college. There were so many blowouts this weekend. College football was just. Alabama won by whatever. OU and Nebraska was supposed to be a close game, and they just spanked Nebraska. And we'll talk about that game in a little bit. There was just college football just wasn't that interesting, let's say, this weekend. And like I said, I want it to be more, and I hope when they go to the 12-game format that the good teams will play against each other more because it won't hurt them, and I don't think it should hurt them now. I mean, when you look at the AP Top 25, how teams have fluctuated. Like earlier, I was with Matt Bond, and we were talking about how the teams, how everything was fluctuating back and forth. Like when we see where Oklahoma State got jumped, and we'll talk about that. You can see how far that Kentucky moved up. When you see how far Oregon moved up, when you see, how it just goes boom, boom, boom. So they're wanting the better teams to be up, and of course the SEC tends to dominate college football, so people tend to give the SEC more love than the other conferences, if that's kind of how you want to put it. So that being said, let's go into the AP Top 25 this week and take a look at what it is. And here you go. Now, Georgia, they're just unbelievable. They have not given up anything. What is it, 10 points? Something ridiculous what Georgia's given up. Or they've given up one touchdown in 3 games. I mean, they're just unbelievable on the defensive side, and nobody expected them to be that good when they gave up all those guys to the NFL this year. Then, of course, you have Bama, number 2, no problem there. Ohio State, number 3, no problem there. Michigan, they love Michigan. They're just rolling right now. They just got to decide if they're going to go with McCarthy as a quarterback, which I think he did because he gives them more flexibility because he still can throw the ball, but he has legs. And I think having a dual-threat quarterback in today's game makes a huge, huge difference because Georgia does not. Alabama does. Ohio State does. Michigan does. Clemson does. Oklahoma does. USC does. Kentucky, yes, kind of. Oklahoma State does. Arkansas does. So Tennessee. So all these teams you see at the top, except for Georgia, all their teams are mobile. And Stetson in Georgia, it's not like he's not mobile, but he's not Bryce Young, and he's not Strand, and he's certainly not Caleb Williams. Okay, and he's definitely not McCarthy. So I don't really think that he goes in that area. He's more of a pocket-type guy. But when you look at these teams, you almost have to. But like I said, Kentucky jumped Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was 8 last week. Now they're 9. And I'm like, you beat a team 63-14. They've been averaging 42 points a game. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and you drop. And Kentucky won their game, and they beat a nobody, and how'd they jump us? Oh, they're in the SEC. But when I was talking to Matt Bond, our GM here at Santa Fe Family Life Center, one thing I did say was that Kentucky does have a victory over number 20 Florida. Oklahoma State has played 3 cream puffs. So that being said, if they did use that as a reason to jump Kentucky over Oklahoma State, which whatever. Arkansas remained at number 10. Tennessee jumped up, 4 or 5 up to number 11. NC State is 12. Utah 13. Penn State jumped up a bunch of spots to number 14. Oregon went from 25 to 15, and Oregon members started in the top 4, got their butts beat, and now they've climbed themselves back with their win at BYU convincingly. So you got to love what they're doing there in Oregon. Ole Miss is Ole Miss. He's got them doing moving up. Of course, they're in the SEC. Baylor, I think they're making their state at 17. Washington 18. BYU dropped to 19. I think they should be even further than that because they got spanked. So I think they should be farther than that, but that's just me. Florida still at number 20. Them losing the other day, I'm like, what are you? I don't know how they pick some of these teams, but like I said, you get more credit if you are in the SEC than you any other school, so that or any other conference. That's how that works. Wake Forest, of course, 21. Texas, 22. I tell you what, Texas, man, they're going to be scary a couple years from now. They're going to be good next year, but 2 years from now, they're going to be really, 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 really scary up front with all the freshmen that they're playing right now than what they've got coming down the pike. Texas A&M 23, Pitt 24, Miami holding up the back at 25. So you kind of got to look at that. But, when I look at this, Oklahoma State, you lose, you win big and you still drop. Boy, like I said, they just love Kentucky and they wanted an excuse to move some more SEC teams, which they just, let's face it, the SEC teams, they have more clout than the rest of the teams. They just do. It is what it is. They have more clout. They get more teams in the league. So that's kind of, what do you say? You know what I'm saying? They just get more teams. They get more teams in the division. It is what it is with the SEC. So I'm not going to gripe about it. I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to let it go at that. So let's go take another quick break, our last break of the day. Like I said, I want to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. If you have any IT needs, they are your people to talk to. If you want to build a network, you start a new business, you want to add computers, they will set everything up for you. Like I said, the thing I like about it is they can go in remotely, take care of all your stuff without ever having to be there personally. SRB, if you got any engineering, surveying, or planning, those are the people that you need to talk to. Oak Grove Trucking in our guy, that Bronco fan that he is, Jose Fierro. Oh, and then Greg and Max and Nafee over at Nafe Cove. And last but not least, we want to thank YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. You know that they are an equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC. So if you have any commercial loans, you want to build houses, you want to build buildings, you want to buy some property, you want to buy some houses so that you can do some rental places, they're your place for that, as well as cars, boats, SUVs, whatever it is that you need. You can contact them for pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. Yep, you can pre-qualify at www.ynbok.com. So, speaking of the SEC, we're, of course, are in the Big 12. That's where we are. That is our conference at Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And let's talk about what happened in the Big 12. Or let's do the Big 12 standings. We'll do the Big 12 standings. And unbelievably, Kansas for real, folks. Kansas is for real. They're 3-0, 1-0 in the conference. They spanked, of course, West Virginia. But they are 1-0 in conference, 3-0 overall. They went to Houston, got down early, and then just put it on Houston, basically. They got down 14-0 and just came back and just beat up on Houston. Iowa State, of course, is 3-0. You know how they're going to be there. You know what they're going to be doing. OU, 3-0. Oklahoma State, 3-0. Difference is, neither one of OU or OSU has not played anybody. Iowa did beat their state rivals. Iowa State did beat their state rivals, Iowa. So that's, they do have something to hang their hat on. TCU, 2-0. Baylor, 1-1. Kansas State, 2-1. They came down to earth, and we'll go over their scores. Texas, 2-1. And Texas, of that group, Texas is the most solid 2-1 of the group. And then when you look at the Big 12 schedule this week, this is what happened. Or this past weekend. Tomorrow we'll have the updated schedule for what the Big 12 guys will play this coming week. But last week, here are the games. OU just manhandled Nebraska 49-14. That game just wasn't even close. I expected a better game than that. 11 points, boy, they were way off for 10 points. 13 it was. It was OU minus 13, dropped to minus 11. It just wasn't even close ever. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, Oklahoma State just really beat up on them right from the very beginning, jumped on them, winning 63-7. Ohio and Iowa State. And Ohio is typically a pretty good team, but Ohio State handled the business at home. It wasn't even close. The game that Drew Henthorne of HuskerDrewPicks.com and I had talked about was that Tulane, Kansas State. He is not a Martinez fan. He thought that Kansas State would run it down their throats because that's all they could basically do. If you get behind them, you're in trouble because, they give Oklahoma and Oklahoma State fits every year. But once again, Tulane and Drew Henthorne and I had talked about that and what we thought was going to be good games and how it was going to be tough for Kansas State. That was just not just going to be a gimme, and Tulane gave them all they wanted. Townsend versus West Virginia. West Virginia, oh boy, they took out all of their pains and aches on Townsend, whoever that is, 65-7. Yeah, for those Townsend grads, I apologize for not knowing who you are. Like I said, I apologize, but football is clearly not what y'all really do right now. So West Virginia handled their business 65-7. USTA and Texas, they did hang with Texas for a little bit, and then Texas just took care of business and just absolutely just murdered them 41-20. Texas State, I thought that they would give Baylor a little bit better of a game, but Baylor is trying to make a statement. They're letting everybody know that they are back, and their loss to BYU at BYU was a fluke, and they're a lot better team than that. So, but anyway, you can saw the Baylor 42-7. Texas Tech against NC State. Drew and I thought that was going to be a good test for Tech, but they were playing at NC State. NC State is trying to make a statement at Texas Tech. Texas Tech is Texas Tech. They pass the ball all over the field, but, NC State did everything that they needed to do to get the W over Tech, 27-14. And then Kansas, like I said, that team, to me, they're scary. Kansas is absolutely scary on what they're doing right now. The fact that they did what they did, beating Houston in Houston now. That was on the road. That wasn't at Kansas. That was on the road, winning 48-30. And, like I said, they were down 14-0. 14-0. So they outscored them 48-16 after that. 48-16 is what they outscored them. So that can tell you a lot about what happened with that and what was going on. So, man, I tell you what, the Big 12 is going to be really interesting. And remember, tomorrow we'll have the updates on who's playing who this upcoming week in professional, and OU and OSU. When you look at our schedule, the Oklahoma State, OU and Baylor is October 1st. OSU Baylor is October 1st. So we're going to see what's going to happen in that game. We do get a bye, so we'll see what happens in that game. OU, on the other hand, has Kansas State at home this weekend. In fact, I may go to that game. If it's a nighttime game, I may end up going to that Kansas State OU game and see what's going to happen, because they always give OU a headache, and so we shall see what's going to happen in that. And then the following week, OU plays at TCU. Oklahoma State has Baylor at Baylor. So I will not be going to that game because I'll be working. And then the following weekend, Oklahoma State has Texas Tech at home. Of course, I will not be there because I will be in Texas, which I am every OU Texas weekend. Of course, that is OU Texas weekend at the Cotton Bowl, and OU is the home team this year. So that being said, remember, if you have not bought any tickets, I'm assuming that you will be able to buy some. I don't know if that is true. Emmy, if somebody wants to come tomorrow, can they? They want to give us $350? Okay, Emmy says if you got $350, if you want to buy a table, we will take your money. And you can contact us at 405-840-1817. That's 405-840-1817. You can contact us at Santa Fe Family Life Center and just ask for Emmy, and she'll be able to help you. And, of course, tomorrow is the John F. Kennedy Community Service Awards. Here are the three people who will be the recipients of that September 20th. 7 p.m. at the Omni. And if you have not been to the Omni, I suggest you go. It's a great place. I enjoy being there, and I have a good time every time that I go. The food is fantastic. And then, of course, they have the sports bar, and not to mention Bob's. They have a great pool. Then on Thursdays, they have the Sunset Serenade Party, so you can do that and hang out at the pool. I'm not really a hang out at the pool type guy. But if you want to hang out at the pool, you can do that with the great look overlooking Sizzletail Park right there, and then downtown Oklahoma City or out west. And remember, we still believe that the Thunder are going to build their new facility across the street from where Paycom is now. So you're going to really have a great view of that if you are at the pool. And I do have friends that actually go there on Sunday as well and hang out at the pool, and they have a great time there at the Omni. And to this day, I have not been to Bob's. I need to go to Bob's to get some food to eat there. I've been to Bob's for my birthday many times in Dallas, but I have yet to go to the Bob's here in Oklahoma City. You know me, I love great food, and I don't know what my issue is with Bob's, but I really, really need to get that figured out. So you know what I'm saying? I know y'all know what I'm saying. Do you? If you don't, you need to know what I'm saying. I have issues, I've heard. I really don't. That's what people say. I don't really think I have issues. I think I'm a sweet, innocent young man, but that's just me. That's what people say. But anyway, you can look at college football games this week when we're talking about the different games that was going on. And we have gone over a couple of these. We went over the OU, Nebraska, the Texas Tech, NC State. But like I said, Oregon moved up. You can look. They were 25 last week. And they jumped all the way up because they just spanked BYU at BYU all over them. So they moved up, and they are now number 12 and took BYU's spot there. Georgia just killed South Carolina. And I don't know, Spencer Rattler, I don't know how much his play or his stock has gone up or down since he has been there at South Carolina. Michigan rolled over UConn. I thought that would have been a better game. Ole Miss just spanked Georgia Tech. And then Ole Miss, and I thought that Ole Miss just spanked Georgia Tech, Florida over USC. I gotta check that out. I made a mistake. Then I had Liberty getting beat by Ole Miss by 1. So I've got to check that. Has to be some sort of mistake. But that's what I get for not being on top of it and checking everything twice or 3 times. But that's the disadvantage of being live and what happens. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Once again, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and we were coming to you from the Santa Fe Family Life Center over here, 6300 North Santa Fe. Remember, we do have some good things going on. We do have membership starting at $34.99, and you can contact us at 840-1817, or you can go to www.sfflc, which stands for Santa Fe Family Life Center, if you want to do that. And plus, if you have a kid that's disadvantaged or handicapped with wheelchairs, we do have programs for them as well. So that being said, everybody be safe out there.